and suck my tongue.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about this pretty awkward CNN panel debate about the Dalai Lama, who is going viral for kissing a child and then sticking his tongue out and asking the child to suck his tongue, okay, which to me seems to give off a whole lot of groomer vibes, right? And CNN is actually going to debate and talk about this, as a CNN panelist is actually going to defend the Dalai Lama telling a young boy to suck his tongue, because apparently, again, CNN hires people who think that, you know, doing these types of things with kids is okay, right? So I want to talk about this. But first, before I talk about this, I want to remind everybody that while everybody's talking about the Dalai Lama, who I guess you could call a world leader, okay, and his, you know, questionable behavior with children, what we really should be talking about is the leader of the United States, or the alleged leader of the United States, Joe Biden, and his alleged behavior with children that has been documented over a long period of time. Take a look.
And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Don't tell me what you have to. Can I go with Jess alone? Very good.
We met before. It's hard to forget those eyes.
Oh, wait, no, come on.
Okay.
Come on,
Do I still hold the Bible?
right over here. There you go. You can put it away if you want. Is that what you said to my mom? It was wonderful. My mom loved it.
1 minute, Angel. Do you want to hold it? Here, lollipop. It's going to come in your mouth.
Got us all?
Just look at the camera, and then we're
okay.
going to have lollipop. It's going to go in your mouth right after, like right after.
Keep going. You're going to stand right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have...
There you go.
Got it? Okay.
And the people in the back, you can spread out a little bit.
You're going to go in the front row. Do you remember what I told you? No, not smile. No date till you're 30.
Yeah, I'm just saying, right? If we're going to have this conversation about the Dalai Lama, which I think we definitely should, we need to be having a conversation about old Creepy Joe, right? Because Creepy Joe has been on this vibe for a long time, okay? And the mainstream liberal media does not talk enough about it, right? It's obvious, it's in your face, but when, you know, Joe does it, oh, it's, you know, they don't really want to talk about it. But when the Dalai Lama does it, oh, well, you know, it's terrible. Both are terrible, right? We should be talking about both. So let's get into it.
Jay, you've met the Dalai Lama many times. Have you sucked his tongue?
I have not. The Dalai Lama is a very playful human being, and we may see this in a weird, kind of gross, sexualized way, but this is about as sexual as a bowl of plain rice. There is nothing.
It's about as sexual as a bowl of plain rice. Wow. Again, I'm not sure, again, how you say that asking a child to suck your tongue is basically not sexual at all. Okay, I can get people saying that, well, he's just being playful, but to say that it's basically not sexual at all, I think is weird, right? I think it's weird.
Nothing sexual or erotic happening in this encounter. As you can see by the reaction of the people who were there, Tibetan culture just had a tongue. It's what we kiss with. It's sexualized. It's this, and of course that this is offensive to us, as it should be.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. I actually read into this. There is a part of Tibetan culture where you know, you stick your tongue out as, like, I don't know if it's a sign of respect or something like that. But from my understanding of it, it's more of a religious thing to show that you're not a bad Dalai Lama reincarnated, right, from a long time ago or something like that. But it is something about Tibetan culture in regards to sticking your tongue out. But I don't see anything about sucking tongues, right? I don't see anything about kids sucking tongue as part of Tibetan culture. I'm just saying, I understand the cultural angle here, but I think what people are mad about is not necessarily him sticking his tongue out, but him asking a child to suck his tongue, okay? I'm not sure if that should be okay in any culture. Now, again, I understand the cultural relativism argument that, hey, certain cultures, do certain things certain ways. Cultures aren't superior or inferior to other cultures based off their practice, but at some point, we have to have a solid moral standard that applies to every culture, right? We can't say that it's okay to do, certain things to children because, well, that's just their culture. That's just the way they do things. No, right? We have to have a certain standard, okay? So I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily sure if this would be my take here, right? This guy probably should get his laptop checked.
It's not seen that way in Tibetan culture. This is a part of the body. It's something playful. It was clearly a mistake. The apology was in order. This was clearly something that was at best, insensitive to how this would be seen by a large swath of the world population. But it seems clear from the video, and look, I'm biased. I mean, the Dalai Lama is one of my spiritual heroes. I have met him. Being in his presence is really one of the most powerful experiences I've had in my life. And the aura of loving kindness that he has is evident even here, where he's being playful in a way that in Western culture would certainly be inappropriate.
But part of also what we're picking up on is the boy doesn't want to do it. He's taking the boy's head. We're just sort of reading the body language here. I'll take your word for it that it's seen differently there culturally, but the boy doesn't seem to be wanting to participate in this.
Well, I don't know. The boy's face is appropriately is blanked out. We have no idea what his facial expression was. I don't see that in the body language. I just see kind of a weird moment. And again, look, this is an 80-something year old spiritual leader who's been celibate for his entire life. Unlike, we see a religious figure in a position of power, and we read it through our lens. We're scarred by generations of Catholic Church sexual scandals and by abuses by spiritual teachers of all varieties, including some of my fellow rabbis in the Jewish tradition. And we see that through that lens, as well we should. But that's not necessarily the lens that a different culture might see this interaction through.
Now, I want you guys to understand the perspective this guy's coming from, right? Because even the CNN panel is like, bro, you're kind of weird. This guy is a writer for Rolling Stone. He's also a rabbi, and he's openly gay, okay? So he's LGBTQ. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to come to any conclusions here. I'm just pointing out simple facts. This is facts, okay? That isn't it a coincidence that somebody who happens to be, a part of the LGBT community defending what this Dalai Lama is doing, right? Again, I'm just saying, this is this person's background, right? So keep that in mind as you're trying to understand his defense of the Dalai Lama. Again, not coming to any conclusions, not drawing any conclusions. I'm just stating actual facts, right? These are facts. Also, again, clearly this panel is against this. What I find to be hilarious about this is that they are repulsed by what the Dalai Lama is doing, but they're not repulsed by what the Democrat Party is doing in the far left woke agenda when it comes to the type of stuff that they've been pushing on children here in the United States. Again, I just find it fascinating how they don't see a problem with what's going on here, but they see a problem with what the Dalai Lama is doing. I see a problem with both, right? I'm just saying.
Anybody have any other thoughts?
I would just say that, I get that there are different culture issues, but shouldn't the Lama have read this boy's body language? Watching that video, I saw the boy recoil and seem unsure. Yes, we didn't get to see his face. Maybe he was smiling. But at the same time, the Lama should have also been respectful there. And I have very much enjoyed the Lama and his teachings. I think he is a powerful force in the world. But what happened was weird. And then from a crisis communication standpoint, which is my bread and butter these days, I thought they absolutely bungled it. The apology, it seemed like a very breezy apology.
Okay, I'll read it. His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident.
It wasn't just his words, it was his actions. And that they should have also said.
I didn't know he was called the Lama. Is that what you call him? The Lama? Is that a
His
thing?
Holiness.
Not really? Okay, I don't know. The Lama. So I shouldn't say that.
No,
Okay,
His Holiness.
I don't believe in it. So he's not.
The Dalai Lama.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama, him. I know it's not sexual. Can I not overly intellectualize this and just say it's kind of gross? Sure. That when he says to the little boy, "Do you want to suck my tongue?" I just, kind of want to change the channel.
I mean,
Yeah, so again, these people think that the Dalai Lama telling a little boy to suck his tongue, that's weird, right? That's gross. But they don't think it's weird for teachers to sit in class and to have conversations about sex or to have these adult books in school. They don't think that's weird. They don't think it's weird for kids to be exposed to male strippers. They don't think that's weird. But they think that the Dalai Lama asking a little boy to suck his tongue is weird. Again, it just blows my mind, right? It really does blow my mind to see the mainstream liberal media reaction to this versus what's going on here in the United States. Again, it's fascinating, right? It truly is.
Raised a child, my daughter's 5 years old now. We had to set boundaries around what's appropriate for strangers to do with my child's face on the subway in New York City. People reach up and do all kinds of non-consensual touching that we felt was not appropriate, squeezing her cheeks and do this and doing that. And you see it all the time. And I think it is something that as parents we want to be sensitive to. And it's not unique to this particular interaction. This is something that is true in our own culture as well, just in different ways.
Ripley?
No, it definitely made me uncomfortable to watch that. Can't deny that. Maybe there was specific cultural context in which it was appropriate. It was it was uncomfortable to watch for sure. But I think you're kind of touching on this larger point that children so oftentimes, especially in our society, don't have any bodily autonomy. They aren't able to say no when they don't want to be touched. The idea is, you have to give grandma a hug, you have to give grandma a kiss. You're not allowed to have control over your own body. So I think maybe we can have that conversation now, just kind of looking at this.
Again, absolutely amazing stuff, man. Absolutely amazing. Repulsed by the Dalai Lama. Rightfully so, right? I'm repulsed too. I think it's weird and creepy. Again, now, do I think he necessarily meant anything sexual about it? I don't necessarily know, right? I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt and say no. But at the same time, it is weird. And I think what's weirder is how the mainstream liberal media is reacting to this versus what goes on here in the United States, because that deserves just as much attention as what's happening with the Dalai Lama, what Joe Biden does, right? The weird sniffing and stuff like that. Yeah, that deserves attention too. I'm just saying. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.